Well, this is our Lions Ravens bonus episode, and we are in a good mood after Monday Night Football in Baltimore. Before we chop it up, let's let you know we have some great partners for our podcast. Memorial Healthcare's Wellness Center. Follow the Wellness Center on Facebook. Also, AZ Branding Solutions, Jacobs Insurance Agency, Corey Shook and Associates Real Estate Services, Nelson House Funeral Homes, Nichols Painting, Rivals Tap House and Grill, Success Group Mortgage and Servicing, the Shiawassee County Fair and ALS of Michigan. I don't know where to start, guys. Just a fun game, impressive in all aspects. Let's get into it.
Well, I was going to say, Jared, I know you're about to jump in. I was curious if the Lions lost this game. I was curious if we were going to actually do this bonus podcast.
Jared wouldn't have showed up.
we said before that we were going to do this, but I was like, if they lose, we might all text each other and be like, let's not do it. We don't need to do it. So I'm glad we're together this morning.
Yes.
Yeah, if you would have asked me, I would have guessed like we were going to be on this morning because we got killed last night, like 35-14 or something like that. But the Super Bowl pursuit is officially back on. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy how much has changed in 3 weeks after that Packers game to how we feel now. It's the defense. I mean, maybe their best performance we've had under Dan Campbell was last night. I mean, the offense looked great. That 99-yard drive, I mean, they harped on it a ton, but that was freaking impressive. And then I'll just say, I mean, I'm not a Montgomery hater. I would always praise Gibbs way more than praising Montgomery. I think we all kind of sensed it watching that game. Like Gibbs was a little sluggish maybe to start. And Montgomery was kind of that juice that we needed. He played freaking dynamic. That was the best game I think we've seen David Montgomery play in a Lions uniform. And it makes you appreciate having both those guys. I mean, we talk all the time about Gibbs being, top 3 running back in the league. I mean, Montgomery's probably a top 10 running back in the league. Right. It's just we're lucky that we have both those guys. But I mean, am I wrong? I mean, this is now full bore. Let's go win a Super Bowl. Like that's how the vibes have changed really in the last 2 weeks, really in the last 24 hours. Like, let's do this.
Yeah. I mean, I think Ted and I were kind of talking before you hopped on, Jared, like the NFL, I mean, we all know it's such a week to week league, after the Packers game, everyone's like, Lions window might've closed and Packers are the best team in the NFC. Well, now the Packers go and lose to the Browns. And the Lions do what they just did to Baltimore, in Baltimore.
Right.
And we're back on. Nope. The Lions run the NFC. Obviously, the Eagles are still the favorite in the NFC. They're the defending champs. But, yeah, I mean, I think it's fair to say maybe the week one was not necessarily an outlier. I think it's, there were maybe some things they needed to clean up. And there were some things that looked like maybe were deficiencies or something against the Packers on the road, but they've cleaned it up in 2 weeks. I think it's more, we've talked about it before. They didn't play anything. They didn't play any starters in the preseason.
Right.
That first game, especially on the road in Packers had just traded for Micah Parsons. All the energy is up for the Packers. I mean, that was almost like a doomsday scenario for the Lions going into that, and it didn't go well. So no, right now I think we're all feeling pretty good.
Yeah, and also in that Packers game, the Lions had 8 coaches they replaced, including their coordinators. And, we didn't know. There were question marks on how they were going to adjust to the new guys. And maybe the one game at Green Bay woke them up. They refocused after that, and now they're coaching on all cylinders and playing on all cylinders. It's impressive, and I do agree with you, Jared. They're back for sure in the playoff and Super Bowl picture right now. I'm not canceling my room yet. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Keep that reservation.
and I just got to say this. I mean, I complained about one of those 4th down tries that we had in that 49ers game where I felt like we should have taken a field goal. At this point with Dan Campbell and the Lions and this brand, it's like, I'm never going to complain about the 4th down thing again. Whether it works, whether it doesn't. Just as a fan of football, it's entertaining. It's awesome. It's awesome that the Lions have this like riverboat, like gambling type brand because of like Dan Campbell and going for it on 4th down. And I actually thought it was kind of a good insight that Troy Aikman said last night that he's like, they know on 3rd down whether they're going to, it's 4 down territory or not.
Right.
I thought that was a good little tidbit that he gave us. Now it's like, okay, now how do they call the game differently on these next 2 plays? But yeah, it just was amazing. I mean, the defensive line having 7 sacks, I never in a million years would have thought we would have sacked Lamar Jackson 7 times. Right. That just was like, we've talked about quarterbacks being lost. And I don't know if it was Lamar Jackson being lost as much as it just felt like nobody was getting open for him. Right. It just was like, it was coverage sacks. It was Aiden Hutchinson played great, forced a fumble on Lamar. or on Derrick Henry, excuse me.
Okay.
That was the biggest play of the game, was Hutchinson, and that's what you need from your key guys. I mean, we've been waiting for Hutchinson to really kind of turn it on since the start of last year, and today it could be a springboard game where now it's like, okay, go be the best player, maybe in the entire NFC on the defensive side of the ball. I mean, big time play.
Yeah, that may have been the play of the game, but there were a few of them. I mean, let's face it, we go up and down on Jared Goff, but he had a great game. They gave him protection. Offensive line was incredible, and that fourth down pass just touched on St. Brown.
That was awesome.
Incredible.
Yeah, I was going to say, when you were talking about the fourth down, Riverboat Dan there, I think we're all kind of in the same boat. At first, when he came and he's going for these fourth downs, and especially, against the 49ers in the NFC Championship, we all criticize some of those, I guess. But I think probably most Lions fans are to the point that what you just said, Jared. He is who he is. He's going to go for it. If they don't get a couple of those, probably going to get some criticism. But I think you live with the results, because he is who he is and his players trust him. And I've heard this past weekend, Saturday, college team, I almost wonder if Dan Campbell is kind of starting a little bit of a trend. You're seeing teams go for fourth down way more. I'd be curious to see some, ESPN stats and info break it down over the last, Dan Campbell's been there 4 or 5 years. Since he started really going for fourth down, have more teams started doing it. Because I forget what game I was watching college this year. A team went for it on fourth down, and the announcer basically said, like what you said, Jared, that Aikman said last night, that if your team has that mindset that you're going to go for it on fourth down, that's so big for the offense. Because on third down, you don't have to get it. Mm-hmm. Like, it's like, all right, just get a good chunk. Let's get it to 4th and 1, 4th and 2, and then we're in a good spot. That's so big for the offense. So I think Jared Goff has talked about that a number of times. I know about how much, they trust and appreciate that from Dan Campbell. Those two, they had 2 drives of 95 plus yards. Those are demoralizing drives. As as a fan, that our offense doing that, you're just sitting back, just enjoying it. If that was going against the Lions, or as a Michigan going against Michigan, I would be turning the TV off, or I would be screaming, "Get a stop on third down!"
It kept extending it. Yeah, those third downs to Laporta on that one drive were backbreakers.
And Montgomery too. Montgomery had a couple big runs, like you said. I saw a stat. The Ravens in the history of their franchise at home had only given up one 95-plus yard drive. In the history of their franchise, Lions did it twice last night. That's just insane to think about. And we talked about the coordinators, the coaches, and rightfully so. So that's one thing too. I've seen some people, after last night saying like, oh, where are all the haters that were questioning the coordinators, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, well, okay, I get that. It was fair to wonder after losing Ben Johnson and then seeing how the offense looked against the Packers. It was fair to be like, man, is this going to be bad? And then, now obviously John Morton and Goff have kind of figured it out. But the offensive line was one of the big things too. We were wondering about the offensive line, and they've seemed to really figure some stuff out, and same thing. They didn't play in the preseason. Sure, they do these joint practices in the summers. I don't, that's not the same as playing games. So I think, hopefully health. I know Decker seems to be banged up every week, and he just battles through it, but hopefully they stay healthy. Sewell was just absolutely punishing guys last night, and Ratledge, the rookie, seems to really be figuring it out. Mahogany. I mean, I don't know. The offensive line, we'll see how the Ravens defense ends up the rest of the year. I don't think they're the Ravens with Terrell Suggs and Ray Lewis and those guys. I don't think they're that, but they dominated. I mean, they completely dominated that game.
Am I wrong, or did you guys sense like it was? Maybe I'm overplaying how much of an effect he had, but I really thought it was like Montgomery who really sparked the offense and got him going.
Gibbs was kind of getting stuffed a lot,
Right. And Gibbs has this thing where it's not like I'm not even mocking him for it, because it's like, no, I don't want him to get hurt either. But like if it's a question play, he's kind of like darting to out of bounds to get out. Whereas like Montgomery is like going to fight for every yard. It almost feels like Montgomery just helped the offensive line a lot with letting them like set up, like just his vision is unreal. Like I have to give that guy kudos, man. He was the star of the night. He just letting his blocks set up, and just I think he helped that offensive line get going when maybe they were struggling a little bit.
He did
out of the gate.
For sure.
Right. And then the fourth down thing, the one thing that helps as well is having Amon-Ra St. Brown. I mean, we know it. There's this funny video of Nick Saban. It's pretty cool. He's talking about his like first coaching lesson he ever learned. he was 15 years old, like a freshman quarterback in high school. He's like calling. He's for whatever reason calling plays at his high school, which I guess was kind of a thing back in the day. Was quarterbacks would call plays.
Yep.
So my dad was telling me at least. And he says how there was like some big fourth down, and Nick Saban didn't know what to call. So he asked the coach, and the coach said, "Well, dial up a play to this guy." Like basically telling him like, in those situations, go to your best player and let the rest kind of figure it out. It seems like that's like what the Lions do. Fourth down, it's going to Amon-Ra. Sometimes on third down, maybe it's going to Laporta, but for the most part, it's like we all know where it's going, and they still can't stop this guy. I mean, it's time to give him credit. Troy Aikman is saying it. Jared Goff said it's the best wide receiver he's ever played. He's ever played with. I mean, is Amon-Ra the best wide receiver in the league? I wouldn't take anybody over him. That's just me being honest.
He may what people would say Justin Jefferson or Jamar Chase, maybe. But
Right.
I mean,
He's right there.
You don't want to. I don't even want to say it because to jinx his 0 drops in the last 3. He does not drop the ball.
No.
I mean, all of his targets don't turn into catches because sometimes it's an uncatchable ball, but he doesn't drop the ball. And what's so impressive to me, and I'm not acting like I'm like some expert by any means on receivers, but I love watching how the really, really good ones, like that touchdown he had, he doesn't put his hands up early.
Mhm.
Like the ball's coming.
Right.
And like if a guy starts putting their hands up, the DB can, here comes the ball, put my hand up and knock it away. That touchdown, he didn't put his hands up until the ball was like right here. Boom, catch it, touchdown. And then he goes off the camera and the mic is right there.
Right.
The hot mic on ESPN. I mean, he said a number of explicit expletives that made it over air. That was pretty funny. But no, Amon-Ra is incredible. I don't know if you guys saw, he was on with SVP after the game, and SVP asked him about that, and he was just like, "Yeah, I just got a little hyped up. I'm sorry to everyone out there that heard what I said, but I just got a little hyped up there." But no, I mean I don't know if I've said it on the podcast. I've definitely said it to some friends. It reminds me of Tom Brady and Julian Edelman when they were in their prime. It just seemed like you couldn't stop those guys. Edelman would just go out, run a route, or maybe like Mahomes and Travis Kelce when they were in their prime. I mean, I think Goff probably does that. Hey, Amon-Ra, just go and I'll get you the ball.
It almost is like, and it's, I mean, it's weird because we do kind of go back and forth on Goff, which we need to stop. I mean, he is the man.
Right.
Why is he?
I think it's fair. I think it's fair to recognize he is limited running.
Right.
But we're not hating on him because you watch Lamar Jackson run and it's like, okay, Goff can't do that.
Right.
Like that's just like a thing. We're not saying like trade him.
Right.
It's just like, okay, he's not a scrambler. Everything else though, he's top 5 in the league.
Yeah, exactly. It's like he's like pre-snap is like it just seems like it's pretty rare where he has a decision other than maybe that Houston game last year where you're like, what the hell is he doing? Like he's out of it right now. It's like it seems like he makes the right decision every play, whether it's like completed or not. Like a couple of times he would like kind of escape the pocket and be on the move and maybe dirt it just because it's a weird. He doesn't have the Mahomes can throw the ball from any arm angle or whatever.
No,
but in terms of making decisions, and he's pinpoint accurate. I mean that fourth down to Amon-Ra. And exactly what you're talking about, Matt. Like Amon-Ra had those kind of late hands on that play. I thought too, that it kept the chains moving. So just an all-time game. I don't know if I've ever been more comfortable with where this team is at. Like, and especially that Packers game, it made me rethink everything. It's like it's the NFL. I feel like an idiot, but every week can change. Next week we might lose, but in terms of currently what we've seen through 3 weeks, I'd take us over anybody outside of maybe the Eagles in the NFC. It's like take our chances. Like I'm impressed with how we battled back from some adversity week 1, and it seems like these coordinators are fitting in just fine. I mean, that's the most pressure we've had on a quarterback, let alone it's Lamar freaking Jackson who's lit us up for like 45 points every time we play him.
Yep.
Like Kelvin Shepard had a great game plan as well, and that's what I love Troy Aikman, so I'm just going to keep parroting what he said. That guy deserved a game ball. I haven't seen the Dan Campbell post-game locker room video yet, but Kelvin Shepard definitely deserved a game ball. Great game.
Yeah, I mean, they haven't missed a beat on defense. In fact, I think they've improved because the players are a year older and
healthy.
He has been in the system, and I love his fireness. I mean, he is into it. The team, you can tell, love him. And think about it, could have even been worse. They dropped a couple of interceptions right on the hands too.
Yeah, that Brian Branch one was in the bucket, and I think it more surprised him that the ball got there. And then that weird play the Ravens ran, Derrick Henry throwing a pass. I know Derrick Henry's thrown, I think he has like 4 career touchdown passes, but still it was kind of an odd play to run right there. But no, the defense hasn't. They've picked it up too. I know Terrion Arnold is catching a lot of flack. He gets cooked sometimes, and he has a bunch of defensive pass interference. But I think he's also like he's stable out there. One, he's healthy, so like he stays healthy. So it's almost like you got to play him because he's healthy. But like then he'll make some good plays too. And it's also like he's still young. So it's like, some people are like, get rid of him. He's a bust. It's like, all right, settle down. First of all, he's healthy. So you got to play him, but let's give him some time to develop, So, and he's also like, he's going against the Ravens don't necessarily have like Justin Jefferson, but he's going against like Zay Flowers and, DeAndre Hopkins, some really good receivers. So let's give the dude some grace. The defensive line, though, I think is one. Hutch, obviously, you already said it, Jared. Hutch, I think that's his best game, obviously, since the injury. But Muhammad stepped up and some of the tackles, Reader stepped up. I mean, the defensive line, if that's a sign for what I doubt we're not going to expect 7 sacks every game going forward. But if that's a sign of what this defensive line can be, I'm going to go with what Dan Campbell's been saying. When people ask him about the edge, we're good. Like I saw him in a presser after the game. I forget what the reporter asked him a question about the defensive line or something. And he said something like, we're not going to listen to what people say about our defensive line. We know what we have. We're good. And it is one of those like, yeah, we should probably trust the coach and the GM and the people who watch these guys every single day. Shepard, though, I love listening to his press conferences. I don't know if you guys have caught any of Kelvin Shepard's press conference clips. The dude is fired up, and he definitely comes off as one like, I don't think he's going to be a defensive coordinator very long. Maybe a couple years, 2, 3, 4 years, but he's going to get a head coaching opportunity. I mean, whether it's in college or the NFL, you would think at some point.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what, he loves Dan Campbell too. Campbell's really has had his back the whole way, and you can tell that love is there. And the other thing, they lost a couple good coordinators, but you look at this team and some of the plays they've drawn up, and John Morton, give him credit, but don't think that Dan Campbell is not involved in those play calls as well, right? I mean, that pitch by St. Brown,
awesome.
Incredible call at that time.
That was awesome.
Yeah. Anytime you hand the ball to St. Brown, I'm good with it. Whether it's just to pitch it or it seems like it works every time. I just like having the ball in his hands. He's a good decision maker. Yeah, I'm with you. It's like now it's like we'd be lying if I showed you a blind taste test, not blind taste test, but like a blind test of our offense last night versus one of our games last year, and you didn't know who was the coordinator. You would think they're both Ben Johnson.
Absolutely.
It hasn't missed a beat. And that was kind of what we were hoping for in the offseason. Like, we still have so much talent. Jared Goff, Dan Campbell has his imprints on it. Like, you thought that this is what would happen. So it's good to see. And again, it starts with that running game. Finally seeing that get going was a godsend. Like, we can't rely on Jared Goff to throw 50 passes and win a Super Bowl. We need to have the running game that we've grown accustomed to the last 2 years, and we've been able to do it.
Yep.
So it's amazing where we're at. Now we're heading into Cleveland, or we play Cleveland at home, which talk about the ultimate test for this offensive line. It's going to be Mason Graham, who's been balling, and Myles Garrett, and that defense. So,
the Browns who just beat the Packers. So.
Right.
And then after that, we have the Bengals, who now have a backup quarterback. So it's like 2 very winnable games. So we got to go do it. And then you're in the driver's seat, heading into some bigger games down the road.
Yeah, because then after that's the Chiefs and the Buccaneers, and the Chiefs, looking a little iffy, but it's still the Chiefs. So it's basically like, the Packers game, okay, they had to beat the Bears, and this Ravens one was big, because if they would have dropped down to 1 and 2 with some of those games coming up, we might have started really scratching our heads or whatever. But no, I mean, the offense hasn't, okay, maybe that first game was a bit of an anomaly, but the offense hasn't missed a beat. That 60 or 90 points in the last 2 games. I saw a stat, 90 points in the last 2 games for the Lions. First time they've done that since 1962, Ted's days.
Yeah.
So, I mean, even all those, Barry Sanders years and the Ben Johnson years, they've never done this since 1962. So, again, are they going to score 38 a game? Okay, maybe not. But the offense, when healthy, seems to have it figured out.
Yeah, no question. And full team effort. I mean, Bates. He's not only one of the best kickers in the league, but he saved a touchdown.
Right. I mean that it really did, because I mean the dude was going to score, and
Yes.
so that it's the three phases, like what
Right.
He's the
Coach
best kicker in the league, man. I'd take him over. I mean, that 67-yarder, he probably should have, like, I mean, he had the leg for it. Like,
Right.
it's crazy how kickers have, like, evolved, like, over whatever, since the 1980s or whatever. Who was the kicker that had, like, the stub toe that, like, previously had the record for the longest kick
Tom
forever?
Dempsey.
Yeah.
I'll never forget watching that game, man.
And now it's like guys are just bombing it way past him every game, it seems like. So I love Jake Bates, and it's as stupid as it sounds, that's quite a skill that he's not completely like lost out there trying to make a play and but he perfectly did it. Just kind of like shaded him in, made him pick which way he was going to go, and made the play. It's like, gotta love Jake Bates, man. The fact we got him from the, what was it, the UFL? Is that the name of it?
Right, USFL.
USFL, yeah. Like, it's just that was the best thing that came from that's come from that league. Yeah, it's like we have all the phases. When he's like, that's the thing. It's just a Super Bowl team. Just keep going week by week. But man, it feels good right now on a Tuesday morning. What do you guys think of Monday? I mean, I would take a Monday Night Football slate over any other like time slot for the Lions. I love the Monday night like presentation. It makes you feel like a kid again, almost, like hearing that music, like hearing Buck and Aikman. Like, it just feels big. Like that's the number one coveted slot, in my opinion, even over Sunday Night Football. I think it's Monday Night Football since they made the change to Buck and Aikman. It's the best.
Yeah.
I mean, Ted, you know for sure, because you were there when Monday night. It was Howard Cosell, right? Was Cosell the first Monday Night Football?
Cosell, Gifford, and Dandy Don Meredith. Actually, Gifford came in after the second year. They had Keith Jackson actually originated it, but that original Monday night crew was top notch. Cosell was in a league of his own, but this crew with Bateman and Buck, like you said, as good as it gets, man.
Yeah, and I mean, ESPN brought them in because ESPN has a Super Bowl in a couple of years, so that's the main thing. But there is something about Monday Night Football. We talked about it a little bit before, so I mean, we do a lot of Teddertainment on this, and we've talked about Jeff Daniels. We've talked about the Manning cast as like the alternate telecast for Monday Night Football, and then I don't know if we got anything else to get to, but I did watch the main telecast last night because I just wanted to hear Buck and Aikman call that game, but Jeff Daniels was on the Manning cast last night, and we've talked about. I like the Manning cast; they're fun. They joke with each other. Eli and Peyton obviously have a great relationship. Joking. I saw they also had Michael Phelps on last night. That would have been cool to hear, I guess, what he had to say. But I saw Jeff Daniels actually sang the Curse of Bobby Lane song on the Manning cast. They showed also. I didn't know this. I saw Noel Dean, former guest of 3 Point Podcast,
Chelsea.
he tweeted out. Jeff Daniels, I guess, played football at Chelsea and won a state championship. Like, so on the Manning cast, they showed his team picture at Chelsea. And, they had Jeff Daniels spotlighted, and Noel Dean tweeted it out. I think what he said, 1971 state champs. Yep. So that's kind of, it's cool that the Manning cast does stuff like that,
Yeah. Well, I think, since they made the move to Buck and Aikman, I'm watching that broadcast, but I'll record the Manning cast, especially just to check out the guest and see, their interaction there. I do think Peyton and Eli do a great job breaking things down for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
But I'm going to watch Aikman and Buck primarily.
To me, it's I think that is like it's. I mean, there's a reason why they're comfortable telecasting both. It's like, to me, the Manning cast should be like trying to go viral, like a couple clips each week. Like, that's how I consume it. Is like, okay, what are like you said, I saw the Chelsea thing. You mentioned, like, to me, that's what they're going for. Not necessarily let's steal all the eyeballs off of Aikman and Buck, but let's have a few viral clips that live on social media each week. So, and they're good at that. I mean, Eli Manning is one of my probably 10 favorite people out there. There's something about him is like, he just seems like a good dude. He's funny. Like, he's got just a funny vibe about him. So that's who I watch for mostly.
He's like the definition of he doesn't take himself too seriously. Like, even when he talks about like his career, he knows he has 2 Super Bowls, but he knows he's also not Tom Brady, or he's not his brother Peyton Manning, but he's got those 2 rings. So he'll joke about that.
Yeah, and he beat Tom Brady.
Exactly. Both of them. Yep. So,
well, how do we want to wrap this up, guys? Just enjoy, savor this
Jared,
all day.
All right, Jared, you said it. We're back on Lions.
Super Bowl.
I know the Eagles, but Lions NFC favorites again. Are we back on that?
There.
I mean, I need I got a long shot ticket. Lions versus Bills Super Bowl, like $1,000 payout. I need it. So I was about ready to say it was dead a couple weeks ago. Now it's like I feel comfortable with where I'm at with both those teams. So let's do it.
Yeah, that's the
Such-
matchup I want to see, man. That's that'd be an all-timer.
Yeah, I've seen some people say that would be cool because neither team has won a Super Bowl. Get one of those teams a Super Bowl. So,
all right,
But,
well, good stuff, guys. Unless you got anything else.
no,
All right, let's
good.
wrap this up. I'm glad we
Yep.
got together here. We again want to thank our partners, Memorial Healthcare's Wellness Center. Follow them on Facebook, AZ Branding Solutions. They have some new news I saw, and definitely check them out. Jacobs Insurance Agency, Corey Shook and Associates Real Estate Services, Nelson House Funeral Homes, Nichols Painting, Rivals Tap House and Grill, Success Group Mortgage and Servicing, not only licensed in Michigan, they can help you out in California, Colorado, Florida, and Texas as well. The Shiawassee County Fair and ALS of Michigan. The Z92.5 Game of the Week coming up Friday night, September 26th, Corunna at Owasso, the renewal of the Backyard Brawl. Peace and love, everybody. Be kind. Thanks for listening, and go Tigers.
I thought you were gonna have a special edition "Go Lions" at the end or something.
I was expecting the forward down the field
Yeah.
or whatever song that is, but yeah, go Tigers.
All right,
Nice.
guys. Have a good one. Check them out later on today.